Yeah, it was a long journey. It was a long, long road. Um, and I think probably the reason I smile about it now is because I do look back, and I mean, I hope people understand it was tough, it was ugly, and it was very, very hard to deal with. But I look back and I just think in some ways, what a gift at 15 to be faced with this incredibly tough question, but to really have to decide for myself what makes life worth living, what makes me valuable still. And it was hard. I actually remember going back to school and still on crutches at the moment. And it sounds really silly, but just being worried. Okay, my friends aren't going to like me anymore. My coaches won't like me anymore because I can't win games for them. I can't perform, and if I can't perform, then who am I? And I think that was probably the scariest question to answer. And there's no way to answer it other than to live through it. But I kind of had just made peace with the fact that, okay, life is going to look incredibly different. So just get rid of your expectations, show up every day, and just kind of see what happens. And I remember, after school, my mum worked full time. She worked late, and so normally I would spend, the 2.5 hours between when school ended and she could pick me up playing sport, and I couldn't do that anymore. And so I would kind of just hang around and sit and watch sport. And it feels really silly saying this, but people would still come up and just chat with me, and we'd have a conversation. And it was just, I guess in some ways it was just, I didn't know people would still like me apart from what I could do, and realizing actually yes they do, and you're beyond this. That was huge for me, and I'm so thankful for that.
When you say, you mentioned the word realising there, Steph, when did you realise you had a talent for long jump? Did you pick a long jump, or did long jump pick you? Do you understand what I mean?
I think, do you know what? Long jump picked me. So it probably took me about another 4 years to get back into sport. At that point, I had just, to be honest, I didn't know anything about Paralympics. This is 2000. This is before London 2012 happened. And I had just decided, okay, look, sport is not possible for you. And my dad was basically like, look, you need to get a great education. That's now how you're going to succeed. So I put all that competitive energy into school and ended up with a full academic scholarship to study biochemistry. And I wanted to be a surgeon. That was my new goal. So I went to university, left sport, and just thought, okay, it was fun, but that's probably not for me anymore. And then I ended up in my first year at university, I had finally got my hands on a blade. And before, when I ran, the times, I enjoyed it, but the times weren't that impressive. And so I just thought, okay, well, that's cool. You're just not that great at it. But then I got a blade, and I'm like, oh no, actually, I am quite fast, which made sense because I was always, that was my skill on the rugby field. I was quick and I was agile. So I started off doing the 100, 200, and 400, and then I was at a meet one day, and I had finished all my running events, and there happened to be a spot open in the long jump, and someone said, well, hey, why don't you go in long jump? And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a try. And I was good, and people were surprised, one, at how good I was, but they were also surprised that my natural instinct, without thinking, was to take off my blade. Which, again, I was always right-footed, and it was my right foot that I lost, and that kind of, set me on the path for, oh, well, maybe I'll be successful in this area.